Commander Alara Voss stood on the bridge of the starship Aurora, her eyes fixed on the view screen where the Varnax fleet glinted in the darkness of space. The alien ships were enormous, their sleek, dark forms moving with precision and speed. They had been attacking human colonies for decades, and now the remnants of the United Earth fleet were all that stood between them and total extinction. Supplies were running low, morale was fragile, and the humans were weary from years of running and hiding. Every day felt like a fight for survival. Alara's fingers hovered over the command console, tightening around the edges as if sheer force of will could change the outcome. Communications were static-filled and scarce. Every colony that tried to send help had already fallen silent. Even the fleet's own distress signals went unanswered. The crew looked to her for guidance, their eyes filled with the same mix of fear and determination she felt. She could see it in their faces. The uncertainty, the hope that maybe, just maybe, they could survive this attack. The Varnax had already reached New Eden, the human colony that had become their next target. It was a beautiful world, full of green forests and oceans sparkling under its twin suns. It was also strategically important, rich in resources the Varnax could use to fuel their expansion. Humanity had no choice but to protect it, yet the odds were against them. The humans' ships were small, older models, patched together with scavenged parts. The Varnax fleet was vast, advanced, and merciless. Alara took a deep breath and turned to her officers. "We've survived worse. We may be small, but we are smart. We have to use everything we know, every trick, every tactic. We cannot let New Eden fall." Her voice was calm, but it carried a weight of authority that made the crew sit straighter. They nodded silently, ready to follow her orders. In the engineering bay, Chief Engineer Malik Torres worked tirelessly with his team. They were converting old weapon systems into something new, jury-rigging engines for more speed, and rerouting power to shields. Sparks flew, alarms beeped, and the air smelled faintly of burned circuits. Malik's eyes were tired, but there was a fire in his heart. "If the Varnax think we'll go down quietly, they're wrong," he muttered to one of his engineers who nodded and returned to work. The humans may have been outmatched, but their ability to adapt was something the Varnax could never predict. Meanwhile, in the fleet's smaller ships, pilots prepared for the mission ahead. Lieutenant Kara Jin checked her flight instruments and ran simulations on her console. She knew that a single mistake could mean death, not just for her but for the people depending on her. Yet even as fear gnawed at her, she felt a sense of determination. Humans had always fought against impossible odds and found a way to survive. This was no different. The tension on the bridge was broken by the arrival of an encrypted message. Alara leaned forward as the screen flickered to life. The message was short, almost impossible to believe. It spoke of a massive human warship, the USS Perseverance, moving through the void corridor, an uncharted and dangerous stretch of space. The ship was a secret, something humanity had built in case of a disaster like this. Until now, no one had ever seen it. The bridge fell silent. The crew exchanged glances, uncertainty and hope mingling in their expressions. Was it real? Could one ship really change the course of this war? Alara studied the transmission carefully. It was the only chance they had, but waiting for it was dangerous. If the Varnax discovered them before the Perseverance arrived, it could be too late. She made her decision. "We hold position. We cannot move without knowing the ship will reach us in time. Everyone prepare for engagement. If the Perseverance is real, we have to survive long enough to see it arrive." Her words were met with murmurs of agreement. The humans had learned to trust in their leaders, and they would follow Alara to the end. As the Varnax fleet approached, the humans made their final preparations. Pilots climbed into cockpits, engines hummed, and the crew braced themselves. Every moment was filled with anticipation. They knew the aliens were relentless, and that there was little room for error. Yet even in fear there was courage. Humans had always found a way to fight when survival demanded it, and this was no exception. Outside the bridge, the stars stretched into streaks as the fleet held position. The Varnax ships moved closer, their weapons glowing with deadly light. The humans could feel the tension building, a silent countdown to battle. It was in this moment, with all hope seeming lost, that something changed. From the darkness of space, a glimmer appeared, faint at first, then growing into something unmistakable. The silhouette of a massive warship emerged, its shape sleek and powerful, unlike any human or Varnax ship. The USS Perseverance had arrived. A low murmur ran through the crew, disbelief and awe mixing with relief. For the first time in years, they felt hope. Ilara's heart quickened. The ship moved with confidence through space, its weapon systems lighting up like the glow of distant suns. It was clear the Varnax had never seen anything like it. The aliens, despite their experience and power, could not predict the tactics that this ship would bring. Its very presence changed the battlefield. The crew of the Aurora watched as the Perseverance positioned itself strategically, ready to engage. Ilara could feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, but she also felt a spark of hope she had not felt in a long time. Humanity was not defeated yet. The Perseverance represented more than just firepower. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, determination, and the refusal to surrender. On the bridge of the new warship, Captain Ryan Calder reviewed his orders. His crew moved with precision, aware that they carried the fate of countless humans on their shoulders. They were trained for this moment, prepared to use every advantage, every trick, to turn the tide of war. Calder's eyes met the view screen showing the Varnax fleet, and a confident smile appeared. "Let them come," he said quietly. "They have no idea what humans are capable of." Back on the Aurora, the human fleet rallied. Pilots adjusted formations, engineers rerouted power to weapons, and soldiers checked their gear. The arrival of the Perseverance renewed their courage. Humans may have been small, outnumbered, and under-equipped, but they had something no alien fleet could match: ingenuity, courage, and the will to survive. The Varnax fleet closed in, unaware of the human warship's arrival until it was almost too late. Energy beams lit up the void as the Perseverance fired warning shots, forcing the alien ships to scatter in confusion. The humans seized the opportunity to move into better positions, using their smaller ships to flank the alien fleet. Every move was risky, but every move demonstrated the creativity that had kept humanity alive for so long. Ilara watched in awe as the Perseverance executed maneuvers no one had thought possible. It twisted and turned through space with unmatched precision, striking the Varnax at angles that left them vulnerable. The humans, inspired by the ship's appearance, fought with renewed determination. Every shot counted. Every decision could mean survival or death. As the first skirmishes began, it was clear that this was not just a battle of ships and weapons. It was a battle of spirit. The humans, once on the brink of extinction, now had a chance. The arrival of the Perseverance was more than just reinforcement. It was a sign that humanity could fight back, even when all hope seemed lost. Commander Ilara Voss took a deep breath and smiled slightly, her eyes still on the view screen. The war was far from over, but for the first time in years, humans had hope. They had a chance to survive, to fight back, and to show the galaxy that even in the darkest moments humanity would not surrender. The stars streaked past as the two human fleets moved together, ready to face the Varnax. Somewhere deep in space, the USS Perseverance continued its silent glide through the void, a shining symbol of human defiance. And for the humans on New Eden and the Aurora, the impossible had become possible. Against all odds, hope had returned. Captain Ryan Calder stood on the bridge of the USS Perseverance, watching the vast Varnax fleet spread out before him. The aliens were confident, their ships designed for pure destruction, moving with precise formation. Calder's crew worked calmly and efficiently, their hands flying over controls, adjusting shields, targeting systems, and propulsion engines. Every human on board knew this battle would define the survival of countless colonies. Yet, despite the pressure, there was an energy in the air, a sense that they could turn the tide. Calder's voice cut through the low hum of the bridge. "All systems ready. Execute maneuver Delta 6. The crew responded immediately. The Perseverance glided forward, then twisted sharply in an unexpected pattern. Energy beams from alien ships scorched the void where the human warship had been only seconds before. But the Perseverance had vanished from sight, appearing behind them in the blink of an eye. The Varnak's commanders did not anticipate such movement. They had never encountered a ship that could act so unpredictably. Back on the Aurora, Commander Alara Voss watched the movements of the Perseverance with admiration. The small human fleet mirrored the confidence and creativity of the new ship. Pilots executed daring flanking maneuvers, darting between asteroids and debris fields, striking alien ships where they were weakest. Engineers rerouted energy to boost shields just in time to block enemy fire. Every human on board was inspired by the presence of the Perseverance. Their fear had turned into determination, and that determination was beginning to affect the battle. The Varnaks, realizing the humans were reorganizing, attempted a concentrated attack. Their capital ships fired enormous energy beams, carving paths of destruction through the asteroid belt near New Eden. Smaller Varnaks vessels swarmed the human fleet, hoping to overwhelm them with sheer numbers. But the Perseverance was ready. Calder's crew fired back with precision, exploiting the vulnerabilities the Varnaks had not noticed. The humans' ability to think differently, to adapt in real time, gave them an edge that the aliens could not counter. Lieutenant Kara Jin piloted her fighter through a cluster of enemy ships, weaving in and out with extraordinary speed. She fired her weapons with accuracy, disabling the engines of 2 Varnaks cruisers. Her heart pounded, but she felt alive. This was what humans did best: improvise, adapt, and survive. She glanced over to see other pilots following her lead, striking from unexpected angles and retreating before the aliens could respond. Each small victory inspired the next, creating a wave of hope that spread through the fleet. In the heart of the battle, Chief Engineer Malik Torres monitored the energy flows of the Perseverance and the Aurora. He noticed that the Varnaks were beginning to repeat certain attack patterns. "They are predictable," he said to Alara, who nodded. "Then let's make them regret it," she replied. Malik rerouted power to the ship's weapons, preparing for a counterstrike that relied on both timing and clever use of space. Humans were never the strongest physically, but their minds were sharp and their ingenuity was unmatched. The Perseverance took the lead, engaging the largest Varnaks cruisers directly. Its experimental weapons emitted pulses of energy that disrupted the alien shields. The cruisers floundered under the assault, their formations breaking apart. Smaller human ships darted in to exploit the openings, striking critical systems. The Varnaks had underestimated human creativity and resourcefulness, and it was becoming their greatest weakness. Captain Calder smiled as he watched the battle unfold. The Varnaks were powerful, yes, but they were also rigid in their tactics. Humans, on the other hand, could think on their feet. They could make sudden decisions that no algorithm or pre-planned formation could predict. "Prepare for the critical strike," he ordered. Every crew member knew what it meant: a daring move that could turn the battle completely, but one that required perfect timing and courage. The critical strike involved targeting the Varnak's flagship, the largest vessel in their fleet. The Perseverance would approach from an unexpected angle, using the debris fields as cover. Calder coordinated with the human fleet, timing every move precisely. Pilots like Kara Jin executed daring maneuvers, distracting the enemy while the Perseverance advanced. Engineers worked furiously, keeping the ship's system stable under extreme stress. Every human on board contributed to the plan, their efforts synchronized in a way no alien fleet could anticipate. As the Perseverance closed in on the flagship, energy beams cut through space around it. The human warship launched its experimental weapons, striking the alien shields at their weakest points. Sparks and explosions lit up the void, and for a moment the Varnak's flagship faltered. Its defenses weakened and human pilots poured in, striking with precision. The tide of battle shifted. The humans were no longer just surviving, they were dominating. Commander Alara Voss observed the chaos with a mix of pride and relief. The human fleet moved with confidence inspired by the presence of the Perseverance and the bravery of their pilots. They had learned to fight not only with weapons but with strategy, creativity, and determination. The Varnaks were strong, but humans had something no alien could replicate: the ability to adapt in the moment, to think differently, and to act with courage in the face of overwhelming odds. The Varnaks' fleet, seeing their flagship falter, began to retreat. Their formations broke apart as they attempted to regroup, but it was too late. The humans had seized the advantage. Calder and his crew pushed forward, ensuring that the retreating aliens could not reorganize. The battle was won, but it was not without cost. Human ships were damaged, some lost entirely, and the crew mourned their fallen comrades. Yet even in loss there was pride. Humanity had survived, and they had shown what they were capable of. Back on New Eden, the colonists watched the space above them with awe. They saw the flashes of energy, and the silhouettes of human ships fighting against impossible odds. For the first time in years, they felt hope. They realized that humanity could endure even when everything seemed lost. The courage, creativity, and determination of their soldiers had given them a future. Captain Calder and Commander Voss met on the bridge of the Perseverance after the battle. They looked out at the remnants of the Varnak's fleet retreating into the distance. "We did it," Alara said softly, a smile on her face. Calder nodded. "We did, but this is only the beginning. Humanity will need to keep fighting to keep surviving, but now they know. They can't be defeated." The human fleet regrouped and repaired as quickly as possible, preparing for the battles yet to come. The Perseverance, once a rumor and a legend, had proven that humans could fight even when the odds were impossible. Its presence had reminded everyone of what humanity could achieve: courage, ingenuity, and a refusal to surrender. As the stars stretched past them, Calder reflected on what had happened. Humans had always been seen as small, vulnerable, and weak by many in the galaxy, but they were more than that. They were survivors, thinkers, and fighters. They could adapt to any situation and turn desperation into opportunity. That was why, even when all hope seemed lost, humanity had emerged victorious. The battle for New Eden was over, but the war was not. The Varnaks would return, and humanity would need to be ready. Yet, in that moment, humans celebrated not just survival, but the proof that they could face any challenge. From the smallest fighter pilot to the captain of the largest warship, every human had contributed to this victory. Every act of courage, every clever maneuver, and every sacrifice had mattered. In the quiet that followed, Commander Alara Voss and Captain Ryan Calder stood side by side, looking at the stars. "We showed them what humans are capable of," Alara said. Calder nodded, a proud smile on his face. "And we will continue to show them. No matter the odds, we will endure. We will survive. We will fight." Hope had returned to humanity, born from courage and creativity. Against overwhelming power, they had proven that even in the darkest void, humans could shine. The USS Perseverance had emerged from legend into reality, a symbol of human defiance and ingenuity. And as long as humans had hope, there was no limit to what they could achieve.